and welcome to my channel. Today's video I'm setting up June in my reading bullet journal. I wanted to keep the themes pretty similar between my journals. So for my regular bullet journal, I did a underwater theme, and so I thought I would carry that over to my reading bullet journal just to make things a little bit easier. So for this one, I'm going with a mermaid theme. I printed out some pictures of mermaids from just ones that I found on Google, and I had this old book pages that I got from Shein. I think is how you say it. I'm not really sure. So I got these old book pages and I figured that I would put it behind, and I really like the effect it made. It doesn't really kind of show, but it reminds me of like a little message in a bottle moment. Anyways, so I printed out these pictures of mermaids and I couldn't really decide how I wanted them to look. Like, I couldn't really get the image I had in my head onto the paper. I ended up pretty satisfied with how it came out, but it took me a while to get there, as you can see all the rearranging. After I was satisfied with the arrangement of the pictures, I just glued them down, and then I put some washi tape around it to just add some different textures and some different layers. I also got these circle stickers from Shein, and I put those on too, just to add to the dimensions and show different shapes. And then I'm just writing June at the bottom with one of my zebra midliners. I really liked the ombre effect I made in my May setup, so I just carried that over. So moving on to the next page, I had more decision issues with how I wanted this side to look. So I'm just playing around with the different papers and the different setups. Again, once I'm happy with that, I just glue it down. This page is going to be both my TBR page and my stats page. I don't like to have too much space for either one of those because both of those sections are usually relatively short. So this month on my TBR, I only have 4 books, and in my stats section, I only keep track of 4 or 5 different things. I'm just finishing up the look with some washi tape and some stickers to tie it into the title page. I'm really liking how it came out. So then I'm writing TBR, and later I write in stats with the same uppercase lettering. I didn't do anything too fancy, and the ombre effect, which I really enjoy doing. And for this ombre effect, I really just like go over the bottom half of the letters, and then I go over the bottom third of the letters. So it's just layering in marker. Then for this month's TBR, I have Fable by Adrienne Young, Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He, and A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. Originally, I also had The Lake by Natasha Preston, but I set up my journal and I filmed my video on like June 3rd or 4th. And so in those like 3 days of June, I had already read that book, so I thought it would be a little silly to include it in my TBR. Actually, as I'm recording this voiceover, I had already also finished Get a Life Chloe Brown, so this TBR is looking very possible for this month. And then I'm doing my stat section, which is pretty much the same for every month that I do. I just keep track of the total books I've read, how many of those books I've read for work, and how many of those books I've read for fun. I like to differentiate because if you don't know, I'm an audiobook proofreader, and so I read all day long for work, and I don't like to include those books in my regular reading tracking because I feel like that's cheating at some point. And then I'm also putting how many pages I read and my average rating. The average rating is new. I've only started doing this last month and I enjoy doing it. So moving on to the next page is my pages read spread. I got this idea from another booktuber, I'm pretty sure it was Books Past Bedtime, and I really enjoyed the way she set it up, so I've been doing it for about 3 months now. This will be my 3rd month. Also, I don't have a page where all of my dots are counted, like a grid spacing page that people usually put in bullet journals. Like I have it in my other bullet journal, but I just didn't put it in this one for whatever reason. So I'm checking back on May to see how I set that up. This spread is pretty straightforward. It's really just a grid, and I'm going to highlight a bar for each day with the number of pages that I read for that day. If you saw when I flipped back to May, it does look a little bit different, but that's just because May I was feeling a little bit more creative and I have the whole grid mirrored, but it's really just the same thing. I really like doing this spread though because I can see my reading patterns. Like some days I'll read like 100 pages every day for like 3-4 days in a row, and then I won't read for like a week straight. And it's really interesting to see those patterns. So now I'm just adding a little bit of decor with some washi tape on the top. And then I'm also going to add some more stickers and one more mermaid picture with some more book pages behind it. I don't really do too many spreads for my reading bullet journal because I do so much tracking in my life bullet journal, and I just find it not really that necessary to add so many trackers in my reading journal. I have thought about branching out though, like I know some people will track days read, but I kind of feel like that's silly to do a pages read spread if I'm also doing days read spread. You know what I mean? Also not exactly sure why, but I was struggling cutting this out too. Like I thought I figured out the scissors things a couple months ago, but I don't know, I don't know why it's so hard to just cut it out like this, but it is, and I really struggle with it. So this final page isn't really a spread. It's just the start of where I keep track of the books I read. So as you'll see in a minute, I'm going to write down 52, The Lake by Natasha Preston, and that is the 52nd book that I've read for this year. And what I do for these book pages is I write the number of book I'm on, I write the title, the author, and then I'll write a small summary of it or like little review, and I give it a rating. So now it's time for a flip through. It's just my title page, TBR, pages read, and the beginning of my book notes. And then I thought it'd be interesting to show a filled out spread of May. So let's go back and look at May. May was a vampire theme, and I'm pretty sure I've already linked this video in a card, and if I haven't, I'll do it here. Also, doing this flip through, I realized that I completely forgot to do a quotes page, so I do add a quotes page in later, but it's not recorded. Also, those two spreads are not part of any month. I just thought they were fun spreads to do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!